Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ilarion and this is JavaScript Web Automation course. Today we're gonna talk about Playwright browser context pages, how to run your test in multiple browsers or context or pages. And then we're gonna review the test hooks and we're gonna learn what is test tag and how to run specific tests based on the tags. All right. So today covering two topics as always, and quick lesson plan. So learning how to run multiple browsers, multiple context, what is context, and how to run multiple pages within one context. Then learning the tags and the hooks and some methods for the test in Playwright. All right. So first thing, browser context page. First of all, I'd like to mention that if you haven't watched my lesson 5 Playwright architecture Chrome DevTools protocol, then I strongly suggest you to first watch this video and only after that get back to this video. All right, so yeah, this is some diagram from the lesson 5 from this one. So I'm just gonna copy this over. Okay, and here I will add something else to this diagram. Okay, so here we have browser Chromium, and inside of a browser we have context. So what are these contexts? So let me just put it here. So we have context 1, context 2. Let's have different colors for them, and context 3. Okay, and I'm gonna name them context 1, context 2, and context 3. So what are these contexts? Look, here in browser I have this window. Then I can have, this one is in blue, this one is in green, and this one is in, I don't know, red. So Chrome gives us an option to create new profiles or contexts. So we can hit here add, then continue without account or create an account. Then I select some profile or context. So profile is context is the same thing. Profile 3. And here I have one more context. So I have one browser, which is Chrome, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 contexts of this browser. And then I can create a new incognito window, and new incognito window is 5th context. So what does it mean? Like each context has everything like separate from other contexts. So all the cookies, local storage, like the, how you call them, the navigation bar, extensions. You see, I have no extensions here in these contexts. No extensions, no extensions, no extensions, but I have some extensions here in this context. Here, and I have this beautiful image also in my main context. So again, context is like a separate window of the same browser. It has separate cookies, local storage, and all that stuff. Why do we need that? We might need that when we run tests, and let's say we want to test a chat between 2 people, or I don't know, maybe 5 people. So we would open 5 different contexts in our tests, and we would open the same chat.com, right? Chat.com on all these pages, and then we would send the messages from some window and check from some context and check on other contexts that the messages are received. So again, context is like a separate window, separate environment. It's like incognito window. So incognito window is a separate context, right? This is like incognito profile, incognito context. All right. So getting back to our diagram, and inside of each context, we might have pages, right? We can have multiple pages within one context, like this. So this is how it works. So if we want to write test for some chat application, then we would have to create two contexts, and inside of those contexts, we would create like open pages, page here one page, and then we would try to communicate in the chat and see that the messages are coming through. Right, and these are pages. I'm just gonna leave it on this diagram. And now let's see how it looks like in the code. So in the code, I have here my browser, right? So by default, it creates a context for me. And let's say I want to have another context. For that, like I already have my browser. For that, let's say I want to have context. I'm working on healthcare project, so let's call it doctor context. Okay, context doctor, browser new context. So here I'm creating new context for doctor, and here I would have page patient, and the same for page doctor. Actually, I don't need this one here. I just need context doctor. Okay, so this is page for the patient, like the default context of the browser. I have the patient, then I have context doctor, right? And here I would like to create a new page, page doctor, context doctor, new page. So inside of context doctor, I am creating a new page for the doctor, page doctor. And let's say I have also a translator who joins the appointment with the doctor and patient and does the live translation. Okay, so interpreter or translator, whatever, interpreter, and then I would have to do the same. So this way I would have context interpreter. Okay, so what does it mean? I've just created 3 different contexts. One is the default one, then another context for doctor, like separate window for doctor, separate browser window for patient, separate window for interpreter, for translator, and page. Yeah, like I don't need this, like, because this is I'm just imagining that I have this test. And then what kind of test would I have? Let me just clean this up. Chat messages. Patient messages are visible by doctor. And in this case, I would do something like patient, page patient. Yeah, just send message. Let's say I have some page object which has send message method. Page patient, send message. Okay, yeah, sure, I would have to create a page object here, but yeah, let's just assume I already have it. So the test would be something like send message on this page, and then I would have to run expect here page doctor, get messages, I don't know, or get patient message, so some method, something like this, to be visible. So first I send the message as a patient, and then in doctor context, in doctor page, I check that the patient message is visible. Okay, yeah, I think you got the idea. So we have one browser, and inside of browser we have different context, and like inside of each context we have pages. So, and we can create it using the browser new context, and then take the context and context new page like this. All right. So is there anything else I'd like to mention? Okay, let's review the browser context API on Playwright website. So here for specific contexts, yeah, the same thing that I just did in my test. So new context and then new page. And yeah, what can we do? As I said, contexts have separate cookies, local storage, like permissions, all that stuff, geolocation, like whatever you can imagine. Like context is like a separate window. All right, so in context we can add cookies, we can clear cookies, we can just add some JavaScript initialization scripts, we can close the context, right? We can grant some permissions, open new pages. So anything that you can do with one browser, one context, you can do the same with multiple contexts if you open them. So like another use case would be for geolocation. Let's say you want to test that your chat works when you have different geolocations for patient and for doctor. So let's say doctor is in New York and patient is in California, and you would set the geolocation to check, I don't know, that the time that is displayed to users corresponds with the geolocation. So the time that user sees on the messages, like message was sent at 5 p.m. So yeah, we can check that in the tests using the set geolocation for specific context. So we can set geolocation for doctor to be in one place and for user to be in another place. All right. What else do we have here? Yeah, okay. So just remember, browser, context, and page. Pretty easy. Then another thing is tag. Tag is something just to tag your tests. Let me show you. Okay, so first here, tags. And now let's revert all this. Okay, can I do it in one go? Okay, reverting all this direction. Okay, never mind. I'll just put it here. Let me just blog navigation, top navigation. Okay, let's use this test. All right, so here I have multiple tests, right? And let's say I want to run only some of them. And for that, I would add here the tag smoke. And let's say I only want to run like these two tests. So smoke tests are just some tests that are checking the basic functionality of your website, something that runs fast and checks basic functionality or the most important functionality of your web app. All right, so then I have this smoke tag. Now I can run these tests. So this is top navigation, and here I have to add grep smoke like this. And now it runs the tests, and it says that it ran 3 tests. 1, 2, 3. And if I remove this grep smoke, then it will run 4 tests, including this one. So why is this useful to add tags to your tests? So let's say you have 300 tests, and they run, let's say for 300 tests, like, I don't know, 1 hour. Then sometimes you don't want to run all your tests because it takes like 1 hour, and and you want to run your tests on each commit that developer makes. So if the developer makes a commit to Git repository with their changes, you want to quickly run like smoke tests for the main functionality, just to check like that most important functionality works, like create order, navigation, viewing product list, like just some basic checks. Then you can have, let's say, 50 smoke tests, which run, let's say, 15 minutes. And 15 minutes is acceptable for running this on each commit that developer makes, or each pull request that developer makes to the repository. Like, it's great if it takes even 5 minutes, that would be much better. Yeah, but depends on the team. So this is why you need these smoke tags. So sometimes you might want to run only the most important tests to check the main functionality. Sometimes you want to run all your tests without the grep smoke, right? All right, I'll add it here. Grep smoke. Nice. And another option that we have is we can run tests with grep invert. Okay, just give me one more chance. Grep invert, and let's see what happens. Oh, first complaint about this thing. Okay, so grep invert smoke, and it ran only one test. So it ran only this test and ignored these 3. So invert is just like turn around, invert smoke, but not smoke, run not smoke tests. All right, that was it for tags. And the next topic is methods hooks. Perfect. Let's move on to the documentation. So let's review some of the methods and hooks that Playwright provides us. So first thing, okay, we already seen that, like we can add tags. We can add them like this, like Playwright suggests, or the way that I showed you. We can add them like this or like this, smoke. So you have 2 options. Okay, why does it say it doesn't like this thing? Smoke, test, smoke, blah, blah, blah. 2 arguments, but got 3. Okay, did they change something in Playwright? I should probably npm update Playwright test. Let's try this. Okay, and now what? Okay, yeah, looks like this is something that they've added recently. Added in Playwright test, smoke, tag. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, looks like I had outdated Playwright, but now it works. So I can add tag like this or like this. All right. What do we have here? After all, after each, before all, before each, describe. We've already seen these, but now let's do the following. Like, in order for you to understand Let me remove these tags. In order for you to understand how all this works, let me just add here describe. Oh, it should be from Playwright. Import from Playwright. Describe. Oh no, wait. It's already in my test object. Okay, so here I have a describe. So describe is just grouping tests by something. Test, describe, top navigation. I can name it like this, and then I have to, let's say, I want to close it here. Okay, like this. So I have this block of tests. I just group tests inside of this describe block. Top navigation, products, and now again I will close this. Yep, perfect. So here I have two blocks of tests, two groups. First group is this one, and the second group is this one. And for each of these groups, I need to add these before all, before each hooks. Boom, something like this. So this is how we group tests. Let's try to run it, and this might fail. Just run all tests. Okay, it complained about what? Okay, it says that I should do npx playwright install to install the latest browsers, because I just updated Playwright and now I have install. What was that command that they gave me? Npx playwright install, right? This one. So updating the browsers. Browser update has finished. Let's run the tests again. Okay, fine. It finished running, and what else can we add here? Let's add here after each, and after all hooks. After all. So the best way to understand how all this runs, like, we will just put some console logs here. So console log before all 1, then before each one, then after each, then after all, and the same in the second describe block. Top navigation, let's call it top navigation 1, this block, and this is top navigation 2. Okay, and the same thing here. Before all, this is the second one. Okay, and now let me run the tests again. Okay, so this is the best way to understand how all this before all, before each, after each hooks work. So what happens? First it runs the first before all, this one. It runs the first before all, before everything happens in this describe block, it runs this thing before all. Then it runs before each. So before each test that we have here, 1, 2, it will run this before each. So before each, then it runs the first test, this one. Okay, let me actually console log test 1.1, and this is console log test 1.2, and the same here. Oh, wait. after all, before all. So this is 2.2, 2.2, and in first describe block I will have 1.1, so this is first test. 1.2, second test of the first block. Okay, we run again. Okay, reviewing the logs. So first it runs the first before all, so this one. Then it runs before each, so before each test it runs this thing here, before this test. Then it runs the test itself, it runs this test, 1.1. Then it runs after each test, this function. Then it runs before each, so this is again before each, and this is before each for this test, before this test. Then it runs the test 1, 2, here test 1.2. Then it runs after each, again after each test, and then it runs the after all tests. So 2 tests have finished execution and it runs the after all. Perfect. So before all is executed once in the beginning, and after all is executed also once in the beginning. And these hooks before each and after each are executed before and after each test in describe block. So this is describe block that groups our tests. And here we have the second one, second describe block, and for second describe block we also have the before all, before each, after each, and after all. And the same logic applies here. So before all is called only once for this block, for this describe block. Then after all is also called once. And here we have the before each, after each, and running the tests. Okay, I think that's clear. Now let's see what other methods do we have here. Let's see the skip. So skip is just to skip some test. Let's say we want to skip some test. I don't know, I want to skip this test. And I want to skip this first group, first describe, skip. Okay, let's see how it works. And it looks like, okay, it won't run all this stuff. So, and it won't run this test. No, this test, skip. Okay, so it should run only this one test. And what do we have here in console? Yeah, only one test passed and 3 tests skipped. This one is skipped, and 2 tests inside of the first describe block are also skipped. Perfect. What other methods do we have here? Let's see, only. Let's remove the skip. And instead of skip, we will add only. So I want to run only this test. I want to run only this test. Okay, so what happens? One test passed. So it ran only one test. But notice that it also ran the before all, before each, then the test itself, then after each, and then after all. So these hooks are executed no matter what tests you execute here. Like if you skip test, then it won't run these hooks for the test. If you have the only, it will run the hooks only for this test. Okay, then we also have some useful methods like fail. So what does it say? It marks test as should fail. So let's say we have some test and we actually expect it to fail, to not be visible. To not be visible, what is the method? To be visible, false if focused, hidden. All right, so hidden, it will fail here, but we think that this is expected, so we'll mark this test as fail, right? So we actually expect this test to fail. So this is, we intentionally say that this test will fail, and this is fine. Like Playwright will still say that it's passed. So we know that it will fail, and this is expected. Then let's say we have something here, and this is not expected. Let's say this element should be visible, but this element is visible but should be hidden, and our test will fail. But then we are lazy, or we don't have time right now to fix the test. And if you don't have time, like, look, this test failed, and we don't have time to fix it now. And we can mark it as fix me to fix it someday in the future when we have more time. Okay, running the tests, and it just skips this test. So it's the same thing as skip, but more meaningful fix me. So it means that we need to fix this test, not just skip it and ignore it. All right, what else do we have here? Only, set timeout, skip, slow. Yeah, okay. So for some tests, we can set some specific timeout. So various timeout, we already reviewed this before. So if you remember, we have test timeout 30 seconds and we have expect timeout 5 seconds. So 30 seconds for duration of one test block. And expect timeout is just for one expect, like this, expect locator or something. And we can increase this for specific test, like this, test, set timeout, and increase timeout. This is in milliseconds, so it will be 2 minutes. Okay, skip review skipped. Then slow. Slow, this is something that marks test as slow. So some tests are kind of like, we expect them to be slow. Let's say the web page is not responding pretty fast, or the backend is slow, and we want like to increase the timeouts for the test execution. Like slow will begin and triple default timeout. Yeah, so it will triple the default timeout. Okay, so pretty similar to set timeout thing. All right, what else do we have here that's useful? Okay, these hooks reviewed. Use, use. So sometimes you want your test to use some specific, let's say, locale for the browser. And for that, you can do it this in the top of your test file. Just put it like this: test, use, locale, and English, or I don't know, Spanish, Espanol, like this. Another thing that I think is useful here, sometimes some tests will fail just because you have a small window, small viewport, like small resolution of your browser, and you can edit it here in Playwright. Oh, where is it? Somewhere over here, right? Viewport, I think. Visual viewport with, hey, yeah. No overload matches this call. No, not here. Yeah, but I'm sure you should be able to do this here. Viewport, let's check. Use options, test arguments, viewport. Yeah, okay, so this is use viewport. use viewport. Can you define it for one specific? Yeah, like this. So I just set the viewport for my browser to be of this size, and yeah, and let's say my tests fail because I set too small viewport, but actually I want my tests to run on this viewport, on this resolution of the window, but for some tests I want to increase the viewport, and for that I can just do it here like this, use, and here, just for one specific test file, I want to increase or decrease the viewport of the browser window. But you can find many other options like this viewport in documentation, or yeah, here you can set some custom user agent, for example, or time zone ID. You can set a different time zone ID. Storage state, proxy, whatever, permissions, offline, like bunch of options. Anything you can do in the browser, you can pass the properties here in test use. All right, what else do we have here? I think we reviewed the most important ones. And what else do we have for today? Oh wow, that's it. That was really fast. I didn't expect it to be that fast. So let's recap. Today we reviewed what is browser, how to run multiple browsers in Playwright Test, how to create multiple contexts for one browser, and how to create multiple pages within one context or multiple pages within multiple contexts, and like communicate between different pages in your tests, for example, if it's chat. Then we learned how to tag your tests, like smoke test, and how to run that with -- grep smoke. And then we reviewed the methods, hooks of Playwright, the describe blog. Before, after, we reviewed the sequence in which these hooks are run. So before all, after all, no, sorry, first before all, then what? Then before each, then it runs the test, then after test, then after each, then after all. Then we review some useful methods like skip, fail, fix me, only, and a few more. Okay, I'm so happy to announce that 2 more down and around 5 more to go. But actually I have more topics on my mind, I just haven't put them here on the list. All right, and homework for today is, yeah, just Playwright docs, as always, go read them. Thank you for watching and see you next week. Bye. And for the people who watched till this moment, I just realized that I forgot to show you one more way to group your tests with test step. So what is step? Step is just a group of actions. So anything can be a step. In a step you can have one action, in a step you can have multiple actions, so it's up to you. So let's say I have here my code for create order or something. Yeah, so this thing looks like a step. So let's say here I have multiple methods, and if I just, yeah, I can actually mark them as a test step, right? Test step. Can I just copy this over? Okay, so first the import. No, I already have this test. And then then what? Then I just copy this over and I do it like this. Boom. Okay, and I will call this step fill out form. Let me run this create order. Create order, debug. No, I don't need debug. Just run it. Just run it, and then what is interesting is the report. Let's wait for the test to run. Okay, done. Let's run the reporter. Here's our test, and here inside of our test, what do we have here? Right, we have fill out form. So why this is useful? This is useful when you want to have nice, beautiful reports like this line. So fill out form, and inside of fill out form, we have multiple actions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the rest of the actions are not inside of steps, so it doesn't look beautiful, right? So here it's easy to read fill out form, and we know that this is this it will execute multiple actions here inside of this fill out form, and we can have the same for, I don't know, for test fill out form. Fill card details. For card details, fill out card details like this. Let's run again. Oh, okay, I haven't imported. Well, now it should work. Rerunning. So here I have one more step. Fill out card details. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, it failed. Why did it fail? Okay, that doesn't matter why it failed, but what matters to us is the fill out card details. So we see we have a second step here. So previously we had fill out form step, and then we had a bunch of actions here, and now we have these actions inside of this fill out card details. So this is a nice addition to grouping your tests and to having beautiful test reports like this. All right, yeah, actually there is another way we can add these test steps to our methods here with decorators, but this is more advanced topic. I think I'm gonna keep it for the next videos. Yeah, just now you can go with test step like this. All right, yeah, again, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.